Sacred Sovereign, a conversation between you and I about our up level and our rising in this time. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Jayashree Dow-Spielman. I am a spiritual educator, an author, an ascension coach, a mom. I do that through sharing the ancient teachings of yoga in all of its forms. I created the Soul Culture Yoga School, where I certify yoga teachers, and I co-created the Soul Mapping Matrix, which is an online digital platform and academy that is ever evolving, but a mentorship program that I do one-to-one, two-to-two with my beautiful husband, Kalanidhi Das. And just a little bit of housekeeping. I'm so excited to be here and to connect with you and share with you. The housekeeping is about the amazing retreat that is coming up. We've been receiving so many messages and so much excitement. We also share Sanctuary Mission Trust, which is a nonprofit organization that connects with Bhakti Yoga teachers, healers, and leaders all over the world to bring the amazing medicine tools and practices, not only of Bhakti, but the riches of various healing paths. And we bring it together to share legacy and wisdom. And we're so excited because after a year of building up Bhakti Bandhav, more than that, through the amazing auspicious blessing of our Srila Gurudev and so many of his beloved teachers, we are bringing together in the true name of Bhakti Bandhav, which means friend to all, beautiful retreats and festivals. And we've done many over the past year, in fact, 8 or so, with the incredible ashram vasis that really are the heart and soul of Bhakti Bandhav. And so new moon, reconnection, we're bringing it all together on April 29th, 30th to May 1st, a Friday through Sunday retreat with our beautiful friend Jai Radhe and Mercier. And we're really culminating something incredibly sacred. And it is now open. We are signing people up. A lot of messages come in asking about what we'll be doing, which of course is hiking. I just put up a post last night of us going to the amazing waterfall that's just behind our house. We live down the street from Bhakti Bandhav, also on retreat spot. Happy 11:08, by the way, 11:08 a.m. Eastern for this Rise of the Sacred Sovereign. We're going to be doing waterfall retreats, waterfall hikes, adventures. If it's warm enough, we could even swim in the gorgeous lake that we share here in the neighborhood. Of course, it will be yoga. It will be talking about Ayurveda and healing. It will be hands-on, assisting and loving, lots of Kundalini Kriyas and expansion of breath, pranayama, but mostly a reconnection to nature. We're here in the gorgeous Catskills of New York. And part of the reason and talk today is about the nature of our soul. And the nature of our soul, of course, is desire. We desire to serve. We don't just desire to learn. We don't just desire to up level. We actually desire to serve. And that service comes from the seed of our soul, the bij. And that bij, that seed of love and bhakti, can be awakened as soon as we hear these sacred mantras, these words that are eternal, that free our mind. They can also awaken from sadhu sangha, or the connection to our beloved other souls and friends that are in the lineage of yoga or Vedanta or healing, that awaken our recognition that we're seed souls. It can be awakened from the hearing of the sounds of nature. It can be awakened from feeling the breath or the air of the saints that have been traveling through on this sacred land forever, but especially the devotees that run Bhakti Bandhav or serve Bhakti Bandhav. We all have traveled to India many, many times. I've traveled India over a period of 9 years, every year for many months at a time. And blood, sweat, and tears comes from those passages through the sacred lands. And the reason it is so powerful, and the reason coming to Bhakti Bandha for a retreat might be so powerful for you, is because you can feel that and you can awaken to it in the moment. We also serve from a place of genuine, authentic love and really like to be transparent. So we have actually made this retreat very affordable. We had a price in mind that could support, of course, the costs, the electricity, the petrol, the food, the travel, the gas, the actual, all the ashramvasis that are living here, they don't really take in any money, but we want to make sure everyone's healthy. We want to make sure you're fed. We want to make sure you're warm, comfortable, cool. And so the price got cut in half. So we decided to give this post-pandemic first retreat for many people at an incredibly reasonable price that will just cover costs. And that donation goes directly to Bhakti Bandha. Some of it will go to the costs for Sanctuary Mission Trust, but it is truly that kind of spirit of evolution and empowerment and reconnection to nature that we're offering. So for those of you who are interested, you can write to us with your questions. We will nurture you and make sure you understand all of the activities going on, but truly it's about coming back to yourself and being with the most loving people. So that is the bit of housekeeping about the April 29th retreat. And thank you for joining and being. It is now 11:11. So how were you all with that powerful Mars-Saturn conjunction yesterday? Whoop. It was very powerful for us. We have a lot of Mars and Saturnian energy in our family. And it was one of those moments where the real like Saturn-like energy of like doing and rules and regulations and what's happening hit that action energy of power and almost like, I don't want to say action-oriented energy, let's say that, very Mars-like energy. So for those of you who had the kind of day where it might have been headachy or you were tired, just know that you can nurture yourself and be in that self-care mode because it is vital. Soul mapping is a process that I simply named after many, many years of finding my way out of pain from the middle. Kalanidhi and I were talking about being married and being partners and homeschooling and our beautiful 4-year-old. And we were remembering what it is to become a student again. Being a student again is our eternal path as well. And we don't just practice knowledge or gyan, but we practice bhakti. So our point of the wisdom is to bring us to a place of service and service mood. And soul mapping is the process of finding systems that are attached to the glorious ancient wisdom and ways of Veda, but that bring it into a language that matches our landscape, like you and I, normal people at this time. And there are many people on the planet that were born to do this kind of work. My work is to organize and align my mind as a psychic being in a way that helps you and serves you. So it's always about your up level and your experience. But the modality of doing that is a scientific way, meaning because I taught for so many years, I watched so many students evolve, whether it was through the yoga school and then through mentorship and then just being friends and in community with so many people, their feedback, their sharing of how that worked. It's really like amazing and powerful to do that. So I'm very honored to do that. And while business and family and spirituality and self-care, all these parts of, this sacred quadrant or these areas of our life that are immediately affected by our mood, they are our up level. They are where we see the miracles unfold in little ways, but sometimes it's a really big I mean, it is a big process, right? We have dark nights of the soul that are like, and then we go through this 2020, 2021 ascension period, whatever you want to call it, and all of our stuff comes up. So Kalani and I were talking about the nodes. The what? The nodes. We were talking about our natal recognition, our return to ourselves from where we are born, where we are going, which you might call the North Node, or in Jyotish, we call it Rahu, the head of the serpent that's always seeking and learning, and it's really positive and powerful, as well as the South Node, or Ketu, where we have come from, where we embody what we came in with from other lifetimes and other awareness. So we're born, the planets are in certain alignments when we're born in direction to the sun, the moon, we have an ascendant, we have a north node and a south node, and these are always moving, these are always circulating, as is our story, right? As is our evolution and our life. And soul mapping is my offering to you, to the world, of bringing it together as well as empowering ourselves to know we are psychic. And this, again, is leading up to what we were talking about with the North and South Node. You're already psychic, gorgeous, right? You're already psychic, man, woman, child, adult. We just have to remember. And we're working through all of our karma in this lifetime, which is to say, our past lifetime work. And if you don't want to believe in past lives, no problem. Bring it into this life. You have generational trauma and patterns from family that go back and back and back hundreds of years. And because we're not just these bodies, we have subtle bodies. Those subtle bodies are more powerful than even the gross blood and guts and bones. And so the subtle energetic field, or aura, if you will, or meridian pathways inside, whatever language you want to use, that's why I'm using various language, it holds sacred imprints. And those sacred imprints are part of our genetic makeup. Call it DNA, call it imprints, call it whatever you like. We have to work through that. And as we work through that, we realize, oh my God, I have a destiny. I have a path. I'm going to that path. I'm going to my North Node. I want to become that, but I have to work with and perhaps through my impressions, my samskars, my patterns. And from that sort of grander psychic as well as astronomical and astrological place, those are the South Node. And my God, there's so much to work with. My husband and I are on opposite sides. Our nodes are opposing each other. So when we come back around at a certain point, we are literally not only dealing with our opposition from what we are working with in this lifetime, but we are working with each other's opposition. And that is why after 10 years of being together, we realized that we were given the instruction to start coaching couples. And we're really quite good at it because we can see, hear, and feel those patterns on various planes of consciousness. And it is those various planes of consciousness that are the melody and the music of life, right? So back to Mars and Saturn, call it however you want to call it. It was a powerful, like warlike energy of like needing to be right or needing to be on top of your game and knowing the strategy, completing the strategy, getting it done. And all that is very exhausting on the more magical, which is to say, I don't know, psychic side of who you already are. And to bring those two sides together, to accept the right and left brain, just like the psychic as well as the material, you could say, side of life, is the process we do in soul mapping, and the process I share through yoga and teaching. Honestly, I haven't felt like sharing much or teaching much in the past 2 years because, like everybody, I have been pummeled energetically by this expansion that is the ascension, that is the pandemic. That was all of the things that brought it in. But I was also studying. I've been mentoring to take on another astrology lineage that I will be adding into my teaching. So It is Saturnian. It is scientific. It's like whenever you study anything, right? You have to embody that work. So first you get the knowledge, you get the data, then you integrate it into your life. And as I was talking last week about this quadrant, about seeing, because this is my goal, is to keep giving and giving parts of soul mapping, parts of ancient wisdom, so that you can use it for whatever you want, because that is the only service in life, is to give to live. It is not just the family and the spiritual and the self-care and the material and the business, that all have to be seen and found in the center, but it is also understanding a few principles. For example, our beloved friend Buddharaji, Dr. Michael Geary, and many other of the sacred scientific wisdom keepers in our Bhakti Yoga lineage, they talk about this beautiful Dharma diamond, or this system of understanding another quadrant, if you will, that is Satya, truth, right? That goes along with Ahimsa, relationship, non-harming. And then on the horizon, you have Saucha, which is purity, clarity, cleanliness of sound and speech and heart and mind, going along with Tapasya, which is discipline. So taking these four things, discipline and purity, as well as non-harming and truth, and adding them into your consciousness, wow, it's so nice. It's so clarifying. And this is why I came on today, is simply to say, every wisdom lineage, every religion will always try to uphold or keep, if it's true, if it's honest, if it's integral, it's not bullshit. It will always try to take the empowerment of integration for spiritual science and bring it into the forefront. And here's the shit kicker, and that's my second swear for today, is that unfortunately, anything that does get brought into the forefront, which is to say that which gets seen, commercialized, the way that yoga has, or the way that many sacred medicine tools and lineages have, it tends to get, how should we say, well, it's going to go through a purification process. In itself, the tattva, or the truth, is not ever anything but pure and true and awesome. But being brought out into the material world, illusion will come in, Maya will come in, commercialism will come in, and it will get perverted. That's the word. It will get twisted on its head. It's like in that show, in the upside down world, right? Everything gets turned upside down. And there are many wisdom practices that will say that that shadow work, or that duality, is the point of life. And perhaps it is. My astrologer would say, I love him so much, and we always love coming from very strong lineages. He's more of a Kali, Durga lineage, where he's working with the Ma, feminine energy, thank God, and he's only passing on his wisdom to the feminine divine. And I know that there are some amazing sacred goddesses watching and in my crew, and to behold and meet again in the near future to work with. But it is always about recognizing that feminine, sacred, divine, along with whatever the masculine energy and moving forward production into the world is. We have to bridge that gap, as well as recognize that these truths are being commercialized and a little bit upside down and perverted. So how to deal with that? That is truly the work, truly the art, truly the legacy of a goal that I have, and that my husband has, and that many of you watching, I know, probably have, to bridge that gap. And I wish to bring soul mapping into the world for you only to bridge that gap, so that money and business, so that spirituality, so that the work of self-care and health, as well as the sacred sciences of cultivating a life in the material world, you can hear Narayani, meets in the middle and spirals out like an eternal dance. That is what Radha and Krishna are doing. You can see above, actually, in the eternal dance of the lovers, which, of course, in this world is also another. We don't want to think in a material sense. We're talking about feminine and male. We're talking about all of the empowerment, sacred connections of everything that is ever seen as duality in this world in the spiritual realm, which is inside of you. Like you are also psychic, like you are all of it, all of it. It comes together in that bij of the soul that I spoke of at the beginning. Just to bring it together, the bij of our soul, the bhakti creeper of your soul, that is your ability also to make manifest your intentional dreams and desires, because as a soul, as a jiva, you are made of desire. Desire cannot be removed from the equation. It must be accepted and loved and nurtured. And why yesterday was so hard, this Mars and Saturnian thing, is because it's all about getting it done and doing it right and having like a pathway, but the pathway is crooked, right? The pathway is crooked because there are all these divots and parts of ourselves that are yet to be unseen. So my wish for you, as I wish and pray, if we can all just pray together for a moment, is to call in that light of divinity. See, Om Gyana Timirandasya, Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena, Tasmai Shri Guru Venamaha, my guru and the guru in your heart. May we awaken the altar in our heart so that we can inspire ourselves, so that you may be a beacon of light coming out of the ignorance that is constantly being put upon us by telling us how to be, and shining from the light within that is always there, always psychic, always powerful, and always available to help us emerge and awaken. May we always remember that altar in our heart. May we always remember we have teachers on the planet. May we pray to those teachers and open ourselves up. We may get hurt. We may be in pain. We may go through the ascension portal. But if we do not go through that dark night of the soul, then the other side may stay in the darkness. And in this light and in this life, you can ascend. You will ascend. We all can ascend. Maybe not at the same time, and maybe not in every quadrant or part of our life at the same time, but as bridges and as finding the bridges, we can walk over and join those pathways and join those parts of ourselves together. I pray that you are finding the spirit and the power of that Mars energy and that Saturnian energy. Today, all the planets are more centered and direct and easier. And if you had a hard time, may it be so that you learned from that, but also may you find your eternal truth by connecting with the divinity inside. It's been really wonderful to connect with you. Soul mapping is the practice and the way for me, and I would love to share that with you. If you're interested, please leave a comment, call for a destiny call. I've been doing this for many, many years and I love it. I'm most excited about connecting in person. So this sacred moon, this new moon, which is on an eclipse, so we'll be grounding that energy, which is like, holy God, we're going to really bring it together through nature, through chanting mantra, through dancing, through kirtan. Everyone's excited to greet you and bring you into the sacred kunj or pool or forest that is Bhaktabandhav here in the Catskills. Thank you for joining me for Rise of the Sacred Sovereign. I am honored to be of service to you, and leave a comment if you would like to learn more. I am really excited about the retreat. You can find everything at jaishriyoga.com. You can also write to me. I am on Instagram and Facebook. If you like this video, share it. And as always, I am wishing you to be held in love as you practice your sacredness and your sovereignty. God bless you. Radhe Radhe. Be in touch soon. Haribol. Where are you? Oh, here. I finished. Oh.